Well, hello, thank you for joining me today again on the Church History Trail, and we're continuing here in Lisburn, and we're just across the road actually from the Linen Museum, which was originally the market house, and I hope to do a wee video on that at some stage. But the reason why we're here actually today is because we're going to look at a grave plot, but where we are actually is in the grounds of LISBURN Cathedral. And so I'm going to take you, and I want to show you a grave, and there's a lot of old graves in this graveyard. But Louis Crommelin is actually buried in here along with his descendants. He was a Huguenot, of course, and thousands of Huguenots actually fled France in the 17th century to escape religious persecution from King Louis XIV of France after he had revoked the Edict of Nantes on the 18th of October 1685. Now, Huguenot is said to mean French Protestant, but nobody knows actually where the term actually comes from. And the Huguenots had a choice under Louis XIV. They could either convert to Catholicism or face life in prison or in a convent. And many chose to illegally flee the country because they weren't allowed to. And so Louis Crommelin, he was a French Huguenot, and he was one of these refugees, and he ended up in Holland. Now, he was sent over here to Ireland by King William III in 1698, and he was appointed as overseer of the royal linen manufacture here in Ireland by King William III. And Crommelin actually settled in Lisburn with a small colony of 70 refugees, Huguenot refugees, in 1698. And most of them were in Castle Street, and so Castle Street was unofficially known as that Huguenot Quarter in Lisburn. And so he started a bleaching green in Hildon, and that would eventually develop into William Barber's or Barber Mill. I actually worked in Barber Mill, and so that actually became the biggest, went under William Barber, it became the biggest linen manufacturer, some would say, in the world. And the Huguenots also established a church in Castle Street, and I hope to do a wee video on that as well. And so they established that actually in Lisburn in the 18th century. Now, Louis Crommelin, he was born in 1652 and he died in 1727, and he's actually buried here in Lisburn Cathedral. And this is the plot here where they're buried, and so this is a Huguenot family, various families within the family. So it is. And you can see there a wee bust, and that's Louis Crommelin himself. And you can see there it says 1652 to 1727. I'll just zoom in and let you see that a wee bit better. And so that's the man himself, and he was a French Huguenot, and he was over the linen trade here. He was sent by King William III, as I say. And so this was done up because it was really in a poor state, and they've done a fantastic job, I have to say. So thumbs up to those who carried out the restoration of this plot. But Major Nicholas de la, I'm going to try and pronounce this, Cherois, it's C-H-E-R-O-I-S, it's French, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. But Major Nicholas, he was born in 1649 and he died in 1702 at the age of 53 years. Now, he was made a captain by King William XIV in France, King Louis XIV of France in 1677. But in 1685, he actually fled with his two brothers to Holland, where they obtained commissions in the Dutch army. And in 1689, King William III, King of England, Scotland and Ireland, he formed two regiments of French Huguenots, and Nicholas was appointed major of one of these regiments. And he and his brothers actually accompanied King William to Ireland and eventually settled here. Now, the major actually distinguished himself at the Battle of the Boyne in 1690, and a few years later he performed a very gallant action making 150 men lay down their arms with only a subaltern's guard, for which he was actually presented by the government with 1,500 crowns and Lieutenant currency. And so he's actually buried here as well. He married Mary, who was actually a sister of Louis Crommelin, and so both of them are actually buried here in this plot. Now, the two brothers of Nicholas, they also joined the Williamite French Huguenot regiment that the major was in, and Daniel was made a captain. He was the oldest of the three brothers, and Bunjunville, he was made a lieutenant, and he was the youngest of the three brothers. And he fought gallantly at the Battle of the Boyne, and in the same year of the Boyne, 1690, he was at the head of a small party of men near Dungannon when he was overpowered by superior numbers, who attacked him actually unexpectedly, and he made a brave resistance but was killed in the skirmish. And so quite a lot of history with this wee plot here, and so it's fantastic. And I'll read some of it out to you. It says, here are interred the body of Abraham Gillett, who died the 8th of July 1711, aged 55 years, and wife of Samuel Lewis Crommelin, who died the 30th of August 1718, aged 30 years. Gilliat, their son, who died 2nd of December 1715, aged 2 years. And Jane, their daughter, who died the 31st of January 1718, aged 5 months. Henriette, second wife of Samuel Lewis Crommelin, who died the 19th of May 1739, aged 57 years. And Esther, wife of James Crommelin, died the 2nd of September 1739, aged 41 years. Samuel Lewis Crommelin, who died the 2nd of September 1713, aged 57 years. And his daughters, Anne, died 21st of June 1751, aged 27 years. And Henriette, 28th of March 1752, aged 23 years. And Magdalene, 18th of April 1753, aged 25 years. And then it mentions Louis Crommelin himself in this section here. 6 foot opposite lies the body of Louis Crommelin, born at St. Quentin, France, only son to Louis Crommelin and Anne Crommelin, and director of the linen manufactory, who died beloved of all, aged 28 years, the 1st of July 1711. And then it says on down a wee bit, also the body of Mary Magdalene Bernery, wife of Captain Bernery, only daughter of Louis Crommelin, deceased the 8th of July 1715, aged 21 years. And then it mentions the man himself here. It says, here also left the remains of Louis Crommelin Sr., who died 7th July 1727, aged 75 years. Also the body of Anne, wife of Louis Crommelin, deceased the 15th of August 1755, aged 97 years. And then it says here left the body of Major de la Churros, Major in the Lord Lefferts Regiment of Foot, deceased June 13th, 1702. And if I remember rightly, he was actually poisoned by accident. I think it was him that was actually poisoned by accident, and that was the major that I mentioned earlier. And he died aged 53 years. Also the body of Nicholas de la Churros, his son, who was deceased October the 22nd, 1708, aged 12 years. Also the body of Mary de la Churros, I think I'm pronouncing that right, I hope you can see it there anyway, it's Cherois, wife of said Major de la Churros, who deceased December 22nd, 1724, aged 60 years. And as you can tell, I certainly didn't take French in school. And I'm not going to talk about the church, because I'm going to talk about the church in another wee video. And so I'm not going to talk about the church now, but you can check out another wee video where I talk about, I haven't recorded it yet, but I'll talk about the history of Lisburn Parish. But I'll give you another wee view of the grave here, of the plot, before we quit. And so this is a Crommelin plot, and of course a Crommelin family served under King William, some in the army and Louis Crommelin himself actually was over the linen trade, and as I say, he started that bleach green down at Hildon, and that would eventually evolve into Barber linen, which was owned by William Barber. And of course William Barber himself is actually there's a burial plot to the Barbers in Lambeg Parish Church, and I done a wee video on the parish church and also on the Barbers down at Hildon, and so you can check them out as well. And so that's, I'll give you a wee look at the man himself. And so that's Louis Crommelin, and he was born in 1652 and he died in 1727. So thank you for joining me today again on the Church History Trail, and if you like the channel, please like and subscribe. God bless.